welcome back to Dave's podcast. In Matthew's Gospel, chapter 16, there's a moment when Jesus looks at Peter and the other disciples and he says to them, I'm going to give you the keys of the kingdom. Whatever you lock on earth will be locked in heaven, and whatever you unlock on earth will be unlocked in heaven. This wasn't a phrase that Jesus made up. It was something that the rabbis used all the time. And it meant this: I've given you my teaching, and now I want you to unlock it for others. And I find this quite liberating, because this idea that we've been given the keys to the kingdom and we do what we can to unlock it for others suggests to me that there are a million ways to do that. And it's not reliant on just, going out and talking to lots of people, which I'm not good at all, because I'm no good at small talk. I'm no good at that kind of thing. But instead, we do what we can, dependent on our personalities, our experience, our skills and abilities, the mistakes we've made in the past, the failings and weaknesses that we have. They all contribute. And Jesus says, just take who you are and do what you can, and here are the keys, and unlock the kingdom for others. I get quite frustrated with myself and depressed, really, about my inability to evangelize and share the gospel, because I just don't seem to be that kind of person. My mind doesn't seem to work in that kind of way, but that's where Jesus is speaking about unlocking the kingdom is helpful for me, really, because there are a million ways to do that. And I feel I kind of muddle along, but try and find the best ways I can do that with the gifts that I have. I hope that's encouraging if you feel that way too. And for me, that really matters, because it's not just about using religious or spiritual language. You can use anything you want, and I use, film and TV and comedy and news stories and all that kind of thing. When I was thinking about this, I came up with the parable. There's a link to it below on this page, which is called One Man and His Workforce. I was trying to communicate something about that, really, the way that this kingdom, which was tiny originally, and it was in a tiny place in the world, started off with a few people, and Jesus said to them, go out and unlock the kingdom for others. And he told another story, which was about a tiny mustard seed being planted and then growing into this massive tree where all kinds of birds came and nested in its branches. It seems to me that's what's happened with his kingdom, that what began with a few followers has now developed into something that is worldwide, with something like 2 billion Christians. And this mustard seed has grown and grown and grown against the odds. Jesus told another story about 3 servants who were given talents and told to go out and use them in whatever way they could. And that also was part of the parable for me, really. When Jesus used this phrase about the keys of the kingdom, he added something else to it. He said that what we unlock on earth will be unlocked in heaven, and what we lock on earth will be locked in heaven. And I think he was alluding to the fact that heaven had decided to, in a way, limit itself, limit the way of working to being through individual, ordinary people and groups of people. So what we unlock for others on earth, that's then unlocking it for heaven, and God gets involved. And likewise, if we lock it up on earth, then heaven is limited by that. It's locked up. And I don't mean that in a kind of heavy-handed, negative kind of way. It's just that that's the way God has chosen it to be, that we are the unlockers for people. We are the ones who can take the keys and use whatever we can do to help people to connect with this kingdom of God. And as I say, it's not about words and evangelism necessarily. It's just about bringing who we are and what we can do and asking God to work through that, really. So that was Dave's podcast. Hope you enjoyed the parable. Thanks very much for listening.